My name's Paul Lloyd, and when I was 27 years old, my life changed. And at the time, it really needed to change. I was a heroin addict. I was a criminal, professional criminal. I'd been messed up for 10 years. My life had spiraled out of control, and I did not know if I was ever going to be able to change. They used to tell me, once a junkie, always a junkie, and I started to believe it. But it never started off like that. It shouldn't have ever started off like that. I didn't spiral out of control because I come from a broken family. I wasn't even abused when I was a kid. But I was depressed. I come from the East End of London, good family. They loved me. But when I was a kid, this darkness used to come on me. The first time was when I was 7 years old. And all of a sudden I didn't feel like I had any purpose. There was no meaning in life. That's all I can describe it as. And it was just darkness, and I was in this place for a while, and my parents didn't know what to do. People at school didn't know what to do. Neither did I. But I got through it, and it came out, and I started doing the school thing, and I was pretty good at school. But then at 12 years old, it came on me again, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's when things started to go downhill. I really didn't know what to do. My schoolwork started to go out the window. Eventually I started hanging about with people that I shouldn't have been hanging about with, just trying to find sense, trying to get an escape. And then someone introduced drugs into the scene, and I started smoking cannabis, and it put the darkness away for a little while. But then it would come back even worse, and so I'd take some more, and it would go, and then it would come back, and I'd take some more, and it started to spiral out of control. And then the party scene, and then the rave scene, and as the years went by, I was involved in. It went from smoking weed to taking speed to then cocaine came on the scene, and that was fantastic for a while. But when I didn't have it, crash, I would come down and hit the ground hard. And then ecstasy, and everything was happy, and the rave scene was going, and it was all wonderful. But it was going too fast, and the darkness kept coming, and it kept coming back more and more and more. And then one day someone introduced me to heroin. They said, "You need to slow down. Take this. You won't feel a thing." So I started to chase the dragon, smoke it on the tinfoil. And I chased it, and it took a while. But then one day I caught it. And that little dragon turned around and he started chasing me. And throughout all of this time, the depression was still there, the darkness was still there, the purposelessness was made worse. And the only way I could ever get away from it was by chasing the dragon or sticking a needle in my arm or in my neck. And that went on, and it went on, and crime went from disorganised crime to organised crime, from robbery to armed robbery, from violence to extreme violence to disorganised crime and addiction and madness, and all the while I couldn't get any peace. And then one day I was 27 years old, and I was literally facing a life or death situation. It was probably going to be the death of someone and my life spent in prison. But then a friend of mine, he told me about Jesus Christ. He'd become a Christian, and he was like me. He'd been like me. I knew him, but he told me about Jesus. He said, "You know what? Jesus wants to change your life." I said, "But I'm too bad. I'm too bad to be saved. Jesus don't want me. Why would he want someone who's broke all his commandments? Why would he want someone like me?" And he said, "Listen," he said, "Jesus didn't come for the well, he came for the sick." He said, "And that's you." He said, "Give him a try." So I went away and I sat in my car outside my friend's gym, and I prayed, and I asked him, I said, "If you are who you say you are, and you can do what they say you can do, if you will forgive me and you'll break my addiction, I'll serve you for the rest of my life." It's a Wednesday night in July 1995, and it was at that point that my life changed. My addiction was broken. I went into a Christian drug program, thank God for them. And then after that, my life took off. I went on a mission field to India. I've been on a mission field as a missionary in the Middle East. And I'm living life. I'm not depressed. I've got purpose. I've got meaning. I've got hope. And now, 25 years on, I'm the husband of a beautiful wife. I'm the father of 2 amazing kids. And I'm the pastor of an amazing church of transformed people. You know what? Life is good. Is there dark days? Sometimes. Nowhere near as bad. But you know what? Jesus can do the same for you as he can do for me. If he knocks on your door, let him in. Because all you've got to lose is your doubts, maybe your chains.